Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. Today with me, Terry Johnson, the Executive Vice President of Firearms Legal Protection. And on John's Briefs today, I want to talk about using your car as a defensive tool and defensive force and what level of defensive force it is. To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below. So Terry, I think the video that I sent him on this one when I prepped you for this was, I think, pretty straightforward. Dude's attacking you with a machete, you're pointing a gun at you, whatever. So let's start there. And ask the question, okay, so is it a difference using my car versus something else as lethal force?
Yes, and it really depends on what the other person is doing. So what do I mean by that? We get a lot of questions, and we get, especially a couple of years ago, if I'm driving and a riot breaks out, and it's just like, okay, where are you driving where a riot breaks out? But that's a whole nother conversation. But if you're driving and something happens around you, and again, let's go back to a majority of the states, their doctrine, their castle doctrine, you can protect yourself in your vehicle, right?
For sure.
So if you can do that and something's happening and somebody is trying to pull you out of the vehicle, someone is trying to harm you in the vehicle, kill you in the vehicle, you can use lethal force to protect yourself. In that case, a vehicle becomes lethal force. Now, if the people are behind me and I throw it in reverse and I got a clear road this way and nobody's in front of me, that's not...
now I got preclusion problems.
You are not defending yourself. You're actually the aggressor in that particular case.
Now, okay, somebody's in front of my car and they point a gun at me and okay, so am I at risk then of death or great bodily harm? For sure. Let's just assume that they're not justified in pointing a gun at me in that moment. And okay, so now I'm justified in using deadly force. Now I don't care if I draw my firearm and shoot at them first, or if I hit the accelerator and put them under the wheels.
Right.
I don't think any big problem there. But now that person is sitting in front of me and they're just blocking my escape. They're just keeping me there. They're not pointing anything at me. They're just standing in front of my bumper. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't care. I'll put them under the wheels anyway. And I think
I've heard that.
You're probably at real risk there because you're using the vehicle in a manner likely to cause death or great bodily harm against what is not a deadly threat.
And that's the key there. What was the deadly threat? I mean, I got to sit here and watch you walk in front of my vehicle with a sign saying vote a certain way or, no to this product or whatever it is. That is not a deadly threat. But here's the question what if there are 20 people around my vehicle? Can I run them over? And I'm going to go back to the exact same point. What are they doing?
Yeah. So the lawyer answer here is it depends.
Yeah, but what are they doing? Are they breaking into your vehicle trying to pull you out? Are they pointing a gun at you? Or are they just surrounding your vehicle?
Right. So if I took the vehicle out of it, right, and I'm standing on a sidewalk on a public right-of-way, and somebody blocks my movement through that right-of-way, and they're standing there screaming in my face or whatever, telling me I can't pass them or whatever, and I go, hey man, it's a public right-of-way, like, get out of my space, like, they say, no, I'm not moving, and I draw a gun and point it at them, well, I'm guilty now, I've committed a crime. I think there is a thing, though, that I can say, well then, move out of my way, and use reasonable physical force to move them and to say, no, I have a right to move here too, as much as you do, and so you can't stop me from doing that, and I can use reasonable force. Now, how much is reasonable force? I think if I put my hand on somebody and moved them out of the way, probably going to be seen as reasonable.
Correct.
I punch him in the face? Probably not reasonable.
Probably assault at that point.
So you see, there's kind of these levels, right?
Yes.
Now let's go back in the car. So somebody's blocking my egress in a public right-of-way, right? On the street, on a public road. It's a road we all paid for, my roads. And okay, they're blocking my egress. Can I reasonably say I'm going to use reasonable physical non-deadly force to move them out of my way?
No, I mean, I'm sorry. You said non-deadly force.
Yeah, so let's just say I'm gonna creep forward with my bumper and go, honk, 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 get out of my way, man. I don't want to hurt you.
That is absolutely fine. The problem comes into play is when people get frustrated.
Yeah.
And somebody throws something at your car, and you're like, oh my God, they're trying to break in. And no, they're not trying to break in. Again, it's got to be an imminent threat.
Yeah. So again, if they're just, if you're like, no, this is a public road, I'm just gonna, they're standing there in the way, I got to get through here, so I'm gonna go real slow, so that they're gonna get bumped with my bumper, but
Right.
they're not going under the wheels. If somebody does fall over and goes under the wheels, I'm gonna stop, because I can't put somebody under the wheel without reasonably causing them great harm.
Exactly.
I'm not telling you that that's what you should do. I'm saying, don't run somebody over. And then, well, then they start rocking my vehicle. Now things are changing.
Right. They're trying to turn it over. They're
Trying to break a window out.
Yeah. And again, at that point, you start saying, okay, what's going on here?
Right.
Am I in fear of death or great bodily harm? Well, if I get one guy that's doing it, maybe.
So okay, somebody's, if you can articulate very clearly, reasonable, objective evidence that they are a threat of death or great bodily harm, like, I don't know, some dude pointing a gun at you out your windshield, right? Absolutely. Use the car just as easily as you can use a firearm.
Absolutely.
Put them under the wheels, get the heck out of there. If they're not, you got to recognize you have to be reasonable too. And if you're not reasonable, you're going to face sanctions legally, because what you did is morally wrong.
And that's the key. Don't be impatient. Don't get road rage, even though it's just people. Please act reasonably in those circumstances.
Here's an ethic in this that I want to add is that we see this in our culture a lot right now. Well, they started it.
Yep.
And that happens in our political world all the time. Well, he's the one who did this thing, so I can escalate and go to that next thing. No. Be the adult. You have to be the good, sane, sober, moral, prudent person. So, that crazy green-haired, patchouli-smelling weirdo is saying mean things about your mom at the side of your car. Okay, they're acting like a child. That doesn't mean you should act like a child.
No.
You act like the adult. And you go, well, I should be able to make them pay for that. You're going to pay the price for that legally if you choose to do that, because that's not how an adult acts.
Value human life.
Oh, see, that's why Terry's on here all the time. Value human life first, even if it's human life that you don't like their ideas. So, be reasonable. That's the rule. Terry, appreciate it.
Thank you.